Hi, Tara Christie, President and CEO of Banyan Gold. I'm here today to give you a real quick snapshot of Banyan, but then really talk about why we're undervalued in this market. And I certainly think, Banyan's one of these unique tier one assets that has tremendous torque and leverage to the price of gold and a little bit to the price of silver. And I think it's a great opportunity for investors. And I really wanted to clearly articulate our investment case to our shareholders and then potentially new investors. Now, just a brief overview, because I'm not going to go into the details of the company. There's lots of information in our standard corporate presentations that you can find online. We are starting with an existing resource, 2.2 million ounces of indicated resources, 5.4 million ounces of inferred. And since that time, when we put that resource out last year, using a 2050 gold price, we've drilled almost 43,000 meters, focused on the economics of this project and really advancing it. We will move some more ounces to indicated. We'll get some more inferred ounces. But what's really important is we've positioned this company for our next major catalyst, which will be our resource update here in the second quarter. So coming very quickly. And in the second half of this year, a PEA to really benchmark our maiden economics. And when you're looking at mining companies, the things that you need to look at, or that I always look at, do you have a proven management team that has skin in the game? We'd have that in spades. And our team has weathered some storms. We've taken this project from discovery in 2019 to having almost 8 million ounces now. I think we're ideally positioned for this gold and silver market. We did make a bonanza grade silver discovery, and we're following up on that this year. And you'll see that I, in particular, as the CEO, have a very significant position and skin in the game with a 3.5% stake, which I purchased in the market. So I have over $2.8 million of cash to purchase my position. And that's something that's important to me, is there skin in the game. I believe this is a generational scale opportunity. Whenever you have a deposit that this large, and I think I'll make the case in this presentation that this 8 million ounce threshold up to 10 million ounce is a very rare deposit scale, something that's truly tier one where you can produce over 300,000 ounces per year. That's the generational asset that these big companies are looking for, or when the mine gets built, it'll run for 20 or 30 years because the scale of the deposit is there. And I think I'll make the case for why this deposit has that. And it remains open in all directions and at depth. And we have a low strip ratio on the deposit because it starts right at surface. Now, one of the things that you'll hear is our overhang is that grade perception. And when you've established a benchmark grade in the market, it's really hard to change that perception. It's something that is a real key to us changing and re-rating that we've got this high grade core. And when you look at the deposit and you use a 0.55 cutoff, you can already see there's a substantial number of ounces of plus 1 gram that hang together. Our drill program last year, that 43,000 meters that I talked about, really was targeted at showing that 5 million ounces of plus 1 gram that we know is within this deposit. We're sitting with a strong treasury and a great shareholder base. That itself is a vetting of our company. With major investments recently by Alpayana, a very knowledgeable mining company, people like John Robbins, who understands the scale of deposit and has been personally responsible for some pretty major successes. When you see those really knowledgeable investors taking positions in the market, I think you should take notice because they see something when they go to site and they've seen a lot of mines. That's a real signal, and it's a signal to me. And our project has a huge infrastructure advantage, and that's been severely discounted in the market. Not only is that a lower capital and operating cost for us, but it means that our permitting timeline is much faster because we don't have to build roads into pristine market areas. So where are we sitting in terms of valuation? And here we're looking at a U.S. market value per ounce. And I've only selected a few companies. If you look out there in the market, I think you'll see that there's a pretty broad range of valuations across the market. We're sitting at about $43 US. And yeah, there's been a little bit of the Iran impact on us, but we were sitting undervalued. And I'll show you that in our share chart on the next slide. But look at the ranges of three other Yukon companies. And, Snowline here at 260, they were over 300. period ran. So not only, are we all undervalued, but we're seeing this discount right now due to the war that's going on at the present time. So for $43 US per ounce, given that we've got a very substantial tier 1 deposit, which could produce over 300,000 ounces of gold, we have that huge infrastructure advantage and an on-surface deposit with already established roads and power in the property. I think it's a pretty good case that we're undervalued at the present time, along with that high-grade silver, which we're really going to drill out here in 2026. And then on the other side of the slide here, you've got what takeout prices were per ounce. And not all ounces in the ground are equal. The Kinross ounces in the ground back when gold was only $1,700 in 2020 was only $89 per ounce. And then, look at Goldfields when gold was $2,500 an ounce, $583 per ounce. So EV on itself is not a pure or ounces or market value per ounce or EV per ounce if you take out the cash. You got to dig a little deeper, look at strip ratio, look at infrastructure. And people comment on the recent probe purchase at about $80 per ounce when gold was higher. But that's a different deposit. It had a very high strip ratio and lots of different, like 10 satellite deposits. So those ounces aren't equal to when you have one large on-surface deposit with existing infrastructure. So what will the valuation be? There's not going to be a common valuation, but there's certainly at a gold price of over $4,000 per ounce. And yes, we've seen some volatility with the Iran war. We had as high as 5,600 and down to 43 again recently. But overall, 45, 47 is a fabulous gold price. Our majors are certainly making money, even if we are seeing some increases in the price of oil. So people ask specifically, okay, Tara, why does the valuation gap exist in Banyan? And there's some really clear reasons. The first one is pretty clear, the legacy overhang, which we have now cleared, but which we are still dealing with the market perception that it still exists in some areas. So that's a major part of our marketing. Remember in 2024, when the Victoria Gold incident occurred, Victoria Gold held 25% of our property. We only had 75% ownership, and they had 8.6% of our stock. That overhang persisted, and if you look at our share price through 2024, and here you can see coming into 2025, it was completely flat, even though gold price was going up, and other companies were starting to see their price start to close that gap. Remember, the majors started re-rating early in 2025 as gold price went up, and then a lot of the companies, our peers, started, a little bit into the spring and through to the fall. We didn't because of that overhang. So we were starting a lot lower because our price got almost halved in 2024. I think we went down to about $10 per ounce, and then we sat for a very long time at about $20, $30 per ounce before now coming up to 43. So, that's not a huge value appreciation compared to see some of the other companies where we've seen the re-rating is much more significant. So by late September, we had that 100% earn-in cleared up. We got a court order giving us 100% clear title. That was very, very positive. And then a little bit further on into the fall, we saw that we could announce formally that share position was completely gone from the receiver. And so I think that's when we could get out and really start telling the story that overhang was gone. And it takes a little while. And then followed by, a financing, which also helped us re-rate a little bit. But overall, have we re-rated to where we should be for our project? I don't believe so. Our peers are certainly trading in a much higher range. Now, along with that, I think the whole jurisdiction also got a mispricing. We saw it in all the Yukon explorers. There was perceived risk in the jurisdiction. There was wondering about the infrastructure and the permitting pathway. A lot of that has cleared up with the new government that's come in, a conservative, business-minded government that's really focused on improving permitting timelines, has made some strong commitments to power infrastructure and road infrastructure. I think that is really strong messaging. But again, it takes time to get out. Changing messaging is much harder than coming out. So for Banyan, that's been a struggle for us. How do we show that this valuation gap exists? Those 2 points. And then how do we get out and communicate it? Our economics being underappreciated, that perception of low grade, again, has overhung us for quite a while. I think our PEA is going to really surprise people with our maiden economics to show why it is so important to have that existing infrastructure, a deposit that starts on surface. And we had the benefit of having a whole year and 43,000 meters of drilling to focus on improving the economics of that PEA that's upcoming. You know, we focused on areas where we could extend high-grade domains. We focused on areas where we knew the starter pits would be. We focused on areas where waste had simply not been drilled, so it was classified as waste. Some of that we've actually converted to high-grade ore. So what we've done last year, I think, is going to really help us with those economics in the PEA. And the fact that when you have this scale of gold, the leverage to the price of gold, you know, what is the value of 8 million ounces of gold? And how much of that gold is actually mineable? You know, there's your global resource, there's the resource potential that you have. And we believe that our deposit has lots of room to grow by probably an order of magnitude. That shows that this deposit, you know, it has lots of room at depth. We've drilled to 650 meters, 350 meters and found high grade ore. We know we can continue to expand it. And when you think about how much the total value of what that ultimate resource would be, that's where you can really see the leverage to the price of gold. And then our high grade silver, you know, that the value of that is that it could be permitted and have early cash flow because it's very high grade, potentially open pit mineable. We have a mill down the road, but that's also potentially direct shipping ore. So I think the exploration upside of our project and the upside of that silver and the early cash flow has not been factored in to our valuation to date. And then the buildability and permitting discount, having that infrastructure advantage, that's not reflected in our valuation. When you compare us to our peers, even in our same jurisdiction, our infrastructure stands out. And that's one of the huge values we get from site visits. People who come to site, they drive in on a bus after landing at the airport in Whitehorse or driving from Whitehorse. And, you know, here we are with year-round roads across our property, hydro power lines that they drive past the hydro dam in Mayo as they're coming to our property and know that that grid is connected to the broader Yukon grid. That really is a huge advantage to us. So, you know, are we positioned for this market? Absolutely. And I know there's some short-term concern as we're dealing with the Iran war, and certainly people are selling gold and other liquid assets to help deal with other constraints. But I think when you think about what the fundamental value of gold is right now, above $4,000 per ounce, it's certainly time to start taking a look at some of these companies which are going to re-rate with the gold price. So what are our value creation strategies? How are we going to close that value gap? Well, we have a very, very clear strategy. You know, it started in October when we raised money so we would be fully funded for our 40,000 meter drill program on AurMac, plus another 10,000 on our regional 10 targets, showing that we've got lots of exploration upside in addition to a very exciting project, which is going to be reflected in our PEA. We'll have that updated resource here in the second quarter, so that's coming very quickly. We've almost got all of our results out from 2025, and we expect to get that resource update out very quickly after that, and then our maiden PEA in the second half. And remember, we've done a lot of the baseline work for our PEA. We did that back in 2025. So really, we're waiting for that resource update, and then we'll be able to put out that PEA. And super important, you know, we potentially have that mine that's down the road from us, Victoria, for sale. There's been numerous people looking at it, having a benchmark valuation to compare our project to other projects before that happens or fairly soon after it, I think is really, really important. Now, our management team and our technical team has been something we've really focused on as the company's grown from a 60 million market cap company to now almost 500 million. We had to add the right people for this phase of company, and we have done that very efficiently, finding the right people. You know, Duncan Mackay, my VP of Exploration, ex-Yamana, our targeting and our geological team, my hat goes off to them, how hard they're working out there. I have 5 drills turning today and already 7,000 meters in with our best targeting ever. So it's going to be an exciting drill season. This year, I just added Patrick Langlois, who came from, Probe, also was part of the Angus deal recently, brings that corporate development and strategic bench strength that we need as we move this project forward. So, we've got optionality. We can continue to advance and de-risk this project, and we will add the right members of the team as we move towards development of this project and potentially construction. But honestly, in this gold market, the M&A market, I think, is going to be very strong. So either option for us, I think we're closing that value gap as quickly as we can with a great team. Our ongoing discovery and growth potential, that drill program, yes, we're focused on the AurMac deposit where we can see where you would have your initial mine plan based, which will be on the PEA. And we know we're already adding value to the PEA. So remember, a PEA is a benchmark. As you continue to move it forward into your next study, you continue to improve it. But we've got so much discovery potential. Remember that deep hole that we drilled down to 350 meters. It ended in 15-gram material that had a very strong geochemical signature indicating it's potentially getting closer to a heat source or the intrusive. So lots of exploration potential still on our property. And we've had some strategic validation from Franco-Nevada, which I'll talk about next, and Alpayana. And certainly we're seeing some momentum in the sector. I think we'll see some M&A in the sector, but there's not very many large projects. We're in that rare territory. When you get into, plus 8 million ounces, 10 million ounces, those are the kind of projects that the big companies are looking for. I think we'll see some M&A with some of the smaller companies merging, trying to form larger companies. Some of the larger companies might go after some of those as well. But I think these gold prices have created such high cash positions for a lot of these majors that eventually here the tide is going to turn and we're going to see M&A start to happen. So, in terms of valuation, I've tried to make the case of why we are starting at a lower valuation than our peers. But I think one thing that really validates our value is this most recent purchase of the underlying royalty on our property by Franco-Nevada for $52.2 million. So as part of our original agreement, way back in 2017, when we earned 100% of the property, we were issuing the vendor 6% royalty that could be bought down to 1% for $10 million. So really, what the most likely scenario is that when you produce, you'll pay the $10 million and the 1% NSR. So what have they bought? So you could look at it several ways. You could say, well, let's just take out the $10 million, even though that should be discounted because it's quite a bit in the future, and say they paid $42 million for a 1%. What's the implied valuation? Does our share price at $40 per ounce reflect that valuation? And I would argue absolutely not. They clearly see potential. And remember, that's probably a pretty significantly discounted price that they've paid. So they think that our royalty is going to pay them back probably in an order of magnitude from what they've paid. So I think it's a pretty great signal for us. And of course, Franco-Nevada, high quality company, when they own your royalty, they are a partner with you and certainly will help you advance that project. So that to me is great validation. So how are we going to re-rate? We have extreme number of catalysts for this year. Our active drill program will start probably getting results from that as early as May, focused on our gold, focused on some exploration targets as well as some of that high-grade silver. I think, that resource update and, of course, our PEA will be important milestones for us. And we're going to see some momentum in the M&A market, including the sale of that mine beside us. So look forward to lots of news flow from us. And I thank my shareholders who've been there from the beginning. We're really focused on adding value for you. For those of you that are just getting positions in Banyan, we're going to add a lot of value for you too. I think you can see how we're underrated, that we've got a clear plan, we've got the right team, and we've got the deposit in a jurisdiction with exceptional infrastructure. So please reach out to me if you want more information, to have a presentation. I'm happy to talk about Banyan and our pathway for 2026.